What's up guys, Lvladen here, and today I'm coming at you with a video on the 9.1 PTR. We're going to go over what I think the new best Red Paladin PvP specs are with the talent changes coming in the next patch. So let's start off with the random Battleground build. Now this is probably a setup that I would run if I was just queuing BGs by myself. Not rated BGs because it's going to be a little more specific with rated BGs, but if you're playing by yourself, something like Lawbringer or Reckoning, even though it is slightly nerfed, and Judgment up here would be fine. Unless, of course, you're going against a significant number of Affliction Locks or Ellie Shamans, then I probably wouldn't take this, because the new Ellie Shaman PvP talent they get dispels, when you dispel Flame Shock, you take a ton of damage and get knocked up. And then, of course, if you dispel an Unstable Affliction on a lock, on you and all your allies, you are going to be melting your own team, so you probably don't want to take Judgment up here into Unstable Affliction locks. In that case, I would swap up to something like Luminescence right here, and then this would be my new random Battleground build. So the buffs to Lawbringer, I'm pretty sure are currently bugged. So if we go ahead and Judgment this target once, you can see we have the Lawbringer, so suffering up to 10% max health when you cast a Judgment on it. This is not supposed to work on the primary target with the buff to 10% on Lawbringer, but it currently does. So as you can see there, I just judged, and I judged my primary target, and the Lawbringer hit it for 4k damage. So I'm not sure if Blizzard is not wording this correctly in their patch notes, but in the patch notes, it doesn't look like... And it even says right here, casting Judgment on an enemy causes all other enemies with your Lawbringer effect to suffer up to 10% of their max health and damage. So, again, I'm not sure if it is intended to work on your primary target still, but it does. So we're going to abuse that till it gets nerfed, because an extra 4k damage is pretty big. Or Reckoning, slight nerfs, generates a little bit slower. Auto attack is now 200% instead of 250. It's okay. You know, I still think this is going to be a default talent in most random Battleground scenarios, even in Arena. And then Luminescence. Now, Luminescence is now really strong. So when healed by an ally, allies within your aura gain 5% increased damage and healing for 5 seconds. However, this also buffs yourself, at least at the moment. So whenever you're healed, you're also gaining 5% increased damage and healing. So if you're playing healer DPS in Arena or just random BGs, boom, Luminescence feels good. So let's go into the more niche specs now and talk about some, some meta changes. So I believe Resto Druid and Mistweaver Monks are going to be two of the best healers in this upcoming patch. And historically, Ret has hated when those two healers are, top in the meta, because they're so mobile and they can escape very easily. So if I was in twos and I was playing against something like Arms Warrior, Mistweaver Monk, I would probably play Law and Order and Jurisdiction, and I would probably try and kill the Mistweaver right here. So now with the changes to Jurisdiction, our Blade of Justice is extended by an additional 10 yards, and our Hammer of Justice and our Divine Storm. So we're gonna, kind of ignore the Divine Storm, because if you're playing Kyrian and Final Verdict, you're not really going to be pressing Divine Storm that much. But the real advantage of this is if a Mistweaver ports away from you or rolls away out of your normal Blade of Justice range, you can still slow them with Law and Order with your Jurisdiction, and you can set up your kill window from much further away. So, like, say I'm way over here, I'm going to go ahead and Hammer of Justice is training dummy. And then I set up my Seraphim Wings, Divine Toll, Final Reckoning on top of the Mistweaver while I'm running at him or her. And we get out a lot of our range burst. And by the time we're up close to the Mistweaver, we hit them with one Templar's Verdict. They roll away. We slow them again with a Blade of Justice, something like that. Same goes for Resto Druid. Even though Resto Druid can shapeshift quite frequently, it's just going to force them to spam their shapeshift and not their healing buttons. So this is a niche setup that I would go into those two healers. Lawbringer, again, it's going to depend on if it is going to get nerfed or not, because When it comes down to it, if I had to choose between just one damage talent between Lawbringer and Or Reckoning, I would choose the current buffed Lawbringer while it still works on primary targets. If they do decide to nerf this onto only functioning on your off targets, then I would stick with Or Reckoning as your primary damage PvP talent that you don't swap out of. But yeah, it goes for that. So, in cases of 3v3 arena, this is where the Ret PvP talent rework really shines. So we have so many different setups that we could go. If we need to be the slowing member of our team, like say we're playing with a BM hunter or something like that, where Law and Order can actually help the pets stick onto the primary target. We could go Law and Order with Jurisdiction. We have super utility setups where we can run Blessing of Sanctuary and Judgment of the Pure. I'm not entirely sure though if I would run these at the same time, because you are sacrificing a lot of damage losing out on Law and Order and or Reckoning in threes, but it's going to depend on how fast the meta is. So if the meta slows down, you know, HP pool is going up, versatility is going to be going up. You know, there is a nerf to the emblem now. 30% HP off of this. Yep, so it's about 11k on the 9.1 PTR. Maybe we can afford to go for slower meta talents like this, where you are cleansing your kidney shot off your healer while also cleansing the polymorph. So if I was going against RMP, this is definitely a setup I would run. I would maybe even sacrifice Lawbringer just to get Unbound Freedom and become a complete spell steal free Dispel freak. Like this, rogue mage would absolutely hate running against Paladin running this particular setup right here, because they can't dispel your freedom. You can dispel their poly every roughly 11 seconds, and you can dispel something like a kidney shot. So they are not going to have a good time. I would run this into hunters as well. Maybe jungle cleave. So feral druid hunter, you can dispel trap quite frequently. Again, it's not always going to line up because I don't think it's worth holding your judgment just to save it for a dispel ever. So it's like maybe you're going to be able to cleanse the last 3 or 4 seconds of a trap. But you're going to be able to cleanse trap, increase fear, feral druid stuns for setups, and then you're going to be able to Unbound Freedom roots, so they can't really root trap, something like that. You're going to be a very anti-jungle and anti-rogue mage. However, against caster cleaves, this is where it comes in. Ret has always suffered against double caster, but I don't think we're ever going to run Judgment of Pure into Ellie Shamans. Now, most Ellie Shamans will take their new knockup. It's basically Unstable Affliction, but for an Ellie Shaman's Flame Shock. It will knock them up, and you take roughly 10k damage. 8 to 10k, I believe. It's kind of a lot of damage. I would not run Judgment of Pure against that and Unstable Affliction. I think I would still take Sanctuary. So if I was fighting an Ellie Shaman, I'd probably play a spec like this right here. Unbound Freedom to stave the Purge. Blessing of Sanctuary to go against Warlock Fear. And that would be it. Now, if we're playing against a Cleave and you are running Ret Warrior, say Ret Warrior against TSG, I think I would stick with Unbound Freedom, and I'm not sure if I would play with Blessing of Sanctuary, because you can Blessing of Sanctuary, Warrior Fear, and Stormbolt, both of which are fairly short CDs, and I'm sorry, Stormbolt is a short stun and a short CD, but Fear is it's like kind of impactful, but you really want the Unbound Freedom against Frost DKs. Removing Chains of Ice is going to be so important in 9.1 because it reduces your haste by 12%. And removing it off your partner is going to be even more important. So being able to Unbound Freedom against Frost DKs is a necessity. So if I was playing Ret Warrior into TSG, something like this setup right here, or you could maybe drop the Blessing of Sanctuary for Orb Reckoning, play a setup like this. Alright. That's about it for the new PvP talent setups. I mean, Vengeance Aura is something that we used to take a decent amount because it would increase your holy damage, but now it only gives you 12% crit I am going to mess around with Vengeance Aura on the new patch, but right now you cannot get BG or Skirm Qs, so I can't really truly test it out. I can only test stuff against like dummies and stuff. So 12% crit out of Vengeance Aura, not that bad, but you really gotta pick and choose your talents here, because we have a lot of good talents, we have a lot of good utility, and we have a lot of good damage PvP talents, and it's great to see. I love the honor rework. Good job, Blizzard. And actually, a lot of other classes have gotten decent honor reworks as well. So I'm very happy about that. All right, guys, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/LvladenPvP. Give me a like, hit that bell notification for more videos, and I'll see you next time. Peace.